All right, Lions fans, it is Sunday night, the 14th. Our boys had a bounce back game against the Chicago Bears, the Ben Johnson led Chicago Bears, son. Our boys, what was the final score, son? 52
to 21.
52 to 21. All right. First, before we go through each side of the ball like we always do, give me your overall thoughts on the game.
Yeah, so I was happy with the game. The first drive, I knew we were going to win the game. It was a very explosive start. It looked like the old school Lions. It looked like the Ben Johnson led Lions, to be honest. Jared Goff had a great game, and it was just domination from the start to the fourth quarter.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree. As we told you last week on our Green Bay Packers video, the Lyons Den was in the house. The place was loud. The decibels were between 113 and 116. I mean, my head was ringing. It took a while coming out of there for everything to feel back to normal. But let's do like we always do, son. Let's start with the defensive side of the ball. The defense gave up 21 points. Looking at these numbers, Caleb Williams, 19 of 30 for 207, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He ran for 27 yards. DeAndre Swift had 63 yards rushing, and their receivers, Rome Odunze, 7 for 128, 2 touchdowns. And then there were a few other receivers, as you see on the screen, that Caleb Williams spread the ball out to. Right here, so I'm looking at our defense. It was led once again by Jack Campbell with 8 tackles. Brian Branch had 6 tackles. And our boys had 4 sacks. What was your thoughts on the defense? Let's start with the defensive line. What were your thoughts with the defensive line?
Yeah, so what I like with the defensive line, for the most part, they were getting back there and making Caleb Williams feel uncomfortable in the pocket. And what I really like, it doesn't look like it. DeAndre Swift did go 12 for 63, but he had about a 30-yard run, I'm pretty sure. So for the most part, we did shut down the run game. It might not exactly look like it on paper, but the defensive line did pretty well.
Yeah, his longest run, he did have that 20-yard run, and we saw the touchdown in the end zone. The defensive line, I thought they did a better job of getting a push in the middle. Let's see where Williams is. He had 0 tackles. I was going to say, I want to see what rookie Talik Williams did. He had 0 tackles. We know, though, playing a defensive line, that's not always the be-all, end-all. Sometimes guys are what you call a two-gapper.
Right.
So they're not really out there that's kind of like what DJ Reed would be. So they're not necessarily out there to make tackles. They're there to eat up blocks so the linebackers can get free, which Jack Campbell did. 8 tackles. Alex Anzalone came in with 6. I thought I saw 6. Yes. So I think that the defensive line did pretty good. Did get 4 sacks. Well, one was by Brian Branch. Now, even though it counts in the record, I don't necessarily count that as a defensive line sack. Muhammad came in with a sack. Matt Davenport had a sack, and Hutch had a sack. What are your thoughts on the linebackers? As I mentioned, Anzalone, I mentioned Campbell, but look at my man Barnes. He also had 6 tackles from the linebacker spot. What were your thoughts on the linebackers?
Right. Yeah, the linebackers looked very good. They looked very good against the pass and the run. Jack Campbell especially was coming down. He was coming through and cracking. Not see Anzalone as much, but maybe I wasn't paying attention because we were at the game. So I did notice Jack Campbell a lot. I liked how he was being extremely physical. And I did forget to mention Hutch. It was nice to see him get that sack. It looked like he was back to normal. I mean, he looked good last game too, but it's difficult when a team's game planning for you for 6 months. So.
I agree, especially with all of the double teams he was facing. And then let's talk about the DBs, corners and safeties. What were your thoughts on them? What jumped out was the interception by Kirby Joseph. Yes. What were your thoughts on the DBs as a whole?
Yeah, no, I thought the DBs looked very great. It was a bounce back game for Terrion Arnold. I know people were frustrated with him. Even Kelvin Shepard had called him out because if you're hurt, there's no need to be playing and trying to be selfish and causing wrong things for the team. So, no, he definitely came back and proved himself today. I thought DJ Reed looked really nice, and I'm very happy Kirby Joseph bounced back and got himself a pick, looking like the robber that he is.
Yes, absolutely. Now, we literally just got home from driving back from the game, so we have not got an injury update. Marcus Davenport got hurt on that sack. He went out the game, and we did not see him back. And then a little later, Brian Branch got hurt, and he was walking off the field pretty slow, to be honest. It was kind of concerning the way he walked off the field.
Yeah.
Maybe he just got deemed up and he's fine, but we haven't had a chance to look at the injury reports just yet. Before we get to the offense, let's look at the special teams, actually. Grant Stewart, 2 returns for 48 yards. What are your thoughts on him returning kicks? A linebacker returning kicks.
Yeah, I don't really like him returning kicks, but I'll be honest, he looked extremely fast today, actually. When you see someone in person, yeah, he looked pretty good actually returning kicks today, if I'm being fair. I don't get the rhyme or reason behind him doing that. I figured that we could have just Khalif Raymond be the return man in general because he's pretty dangerous, especially when he starts cooking. But yeah, he wasn't bad today though.
Okay. And my guy Jack Fox did what a good punter should do. 3 for 147 with a 49 average. My rule of thumb is a good punter should average 45 yards, meaning that he's flipping the field,
Right,
which he did. And 2 of those 3 were inside of the 20. And then my guy Jake Bates, he had a fair day. He went 1 for 2. How long was the one that he missed?
It was 55 yards.
It was 55 yards, which that's not a gimme. I don't care how strong his leg is. That's not a gimme. But I could tell kind of the way he was kind of like jerking. I don't know if he anticipated wrong or if it was a bad snap, but he did miss one. So he went 50%, but he did go 7 for 7 on extra points, giving him a total of 10 points. Now, son, let's talk about the offense. The offense put up 52 points. The offense that struggled against the Packers last week. An offense that only scored a touchdown in garbage time. Let's start with Jared Goff, the quarterback. 23 for 28. His game was actually better now that I'm looking at it than it looked in person. 23 for 28, 334, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks, 0 sacks.
Right. So yeah, the thing with Jared Goff is you never realize how sometimes how accurate he is. It's very low key. I did not realize he was 23 for 28.
Right.
Even though last game was abysmal, he was 31 for 39 last game. So he's always in that high range, that high, well above 50%. What I'm saying. So today it was nice to see him. He picked up that average per yards quite a bit. Less throws, 23 throws for 334 yards compared to last week. He had barely 200 on 31 passes or something like that. So he was much more efficient this week. And this is the Jared Goff that we're going to need all year if we're going to win any type of games, any type of serious games that actually mean anything for the season. We have a very tough away schedule. So, yeah, Jared Goff looked very well today, though.
I would say so, too. Let's go with the running back. The running game looked much better today. Got 94 from Gibbs with a 7.8 average. Monty came in with 57 yards with a 5.2 average, and then they did a couple of end rounds with Khalif, and I thought Jameson Williams got one, but he didn't. Mm-hmm. So 177 yards, 2 touchdowns rushing. What were your thoughts on the running backs today, especially compared to that Green Bay game?
Right. Yeah, no, the running game looked very well. We pretty much had our way, and that's the big thing on the offense. We have to be able to develop the running game with both Knuckles and Sonic, with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Because when you start to do that, teams, when you're able to go through with the Thunder and Lightning, then you're able to settle the pass game because, teams don't know exactly what we're going to do. We can run it on 3rd and 2, or we could pass it, or we could throw like a sweep to Jahmyr Gibbs. So it's very difficult to deal with both of them when they're both doing that well.
All right, let me ask you something. So the running game seemed to be back. The running game struggled against the Packers. Was it that the running backs were finding lanes and holes, or was it that the offensive line actually played better this week than they did against the Packers?
I would say they played better this week. That's just really the answer more is the Packers are really good. Yeah, they played better this week. Yeah, they played better this week for sure, but the Bears aren't that good. The Bears aren't good. So, yeah, they played better this week for sure. But, yeah.
But this is the thing about the Bears, though. The Bears, they do have a good defense, and that's one thing I would give them credit for. Maybe it's just that the Packers up front are just better.
No, they are.
But the Bears, they have a pass rush. They have guys up front. But I did make it a point, to be honest, at the game to look down at Tate Ratledge on some of the plays instead of just watching Jared Goff to see what he was doing.
Right.
I made sure to watch the young rookie to see, and it seemed like he was more on assignment this game because last week between him and Glasgow, they blew some assignments. So I think that they tightened up some things. But, of course, we have a big test coming next week. And then let's talk about the wide receivers. I was listening to my guy Ross Tucker this week, and they were saying that they thought that Amon-Ra St. Brown would have a bounce back game this week. 9 for 115, 3 touchdowns. Jameson Williams, it seemed like he had more receptions than that, but 2 for 108 for 1 touchdown. Now that's what a fast receiver like that does. 2 for 108. Did I ever tell you about that game Randy Moss rookie year against the Cowboys? He had a weird game. He had 4 receptions for like 188 yards, and 3 of those were touchdowns.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, that's what guys with speed, that's what they can do. Now, one of those, I think it might have been the 45-yarder, not the 64-yarder. Jameson Williams actually, Jared Goff threw it behind his back. Williams actually had to literally swing his whole body back and catch it, turn, and still got like 45 yards off of it. And then Sam Laporta, seemed like he had a bigger game than that, 3 for 26. What were your thoughts on the wide receivers?
Right, yeah. So I thought the wide receivers pretty much look back at it. That's like you said. I was going to say that's the exact game I would expect out of Jameson Williams. Pretty much 50 yards a pop on every catch, or beyond 50 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown looked like himself. He looked very sure-handed, like he normally does. And yeah, Jared Goff just did a great job at getting everybody the ball. He spread the ball around. Now it can't always be one person's day. It was Sam Laporta's day last week, and we didn't end up winning the game.
Right.
But today it was Amon-Ra St. Brown's and Jameson Williams' day, and I thought the receivers looked really good.
Okay. Well, there it is, son. I mean, 52-21. That's exactly what the Lions needed to get back on point. Now, son, I have a question. I'm curious about something. Do you think that what happened against the Packers? Now, we know the Packers are good. We've seen the Packers play 2 games. Do you think that it was just that the Lions had a bad day at the office? Or do you think that the Packers are that good that they made the Lions look that bad?
I think it's a combination of the two. I think I think it's more so that it was a bad day at the office. I'm not sure if it was a bad day at the office, but it's going to be a hard game. I can't really see us beating them by a touchdown. I think even the next time we play them, it's going to be a very scary game. Michael Parsons is going to be at full health. That's going to be scary. We're going to have to double team him one game. So yeah, it was a bad day at the office, but the Packers are that good. Like, the Packers are that good. Okay. They're that good where they might not lose many games at all. Like, one of the games they lose, hopefully, is to the Lions. The Packers might lose 2 games or 3 games, maybe.
And let me tell you something, people. That's one of the things that you can get here at the Lions Den. We're always going to keep it straight. We're not going to hate a team so much that we just can't be honest. I mean, we saw what the Packers did with our own eyes. The Lions are a good team. You saw what they did today. I don't care if it's quote unquote just the Bears. We saw what they did today, and then we saw what they did to the Commanders, another playoff team. So we will give the Packers their credit. Who knows? It might be their year. I mean, Vegas has the Lions making the playoffs, son, but Vegas said that the Packers are going to win the division. Right. Even though the Lions will still make the playoffs, but it's the Packers' time to win the division. But we don't know. Yeah, the Lions can roll into Baltimore next Monday and come out with a victory and show everybody that no, the Lions are actually back.
Right.
Well, son, did we miss anything? Any closing thoughts?
No, I don't think so. Let's just go Lions, man. We bounce back. So let's keep it going for a minute at least.
And real quick, what did you think about that crowd? That was in Ford Field today.
You guys haven't been to a Lions game. You got to get there. The crowd, it just gets crazier and crazier every year. It was extremely loud. That might be one of the louder games I've been to, actually, for the Lions. And yeah, that's saying a lot, to be honest.
It was very loud. I agree. I think the fans want to show Ben Johnson what he was missing.
Yeah.
And I think Ben Johnson might have been missing it, saying, you know what? I could have been the new Dick LeBeau and just stayed a offensive coordinator my whole career, right, and got these Lions right.
Right.
I mean, I get it. I get it that everybody wants a chance to be a head coach, but Dick LeBeau, for any of you who don't know, he was a long time Pittsburgh Steelers defensive coordinator. And by long time, I mean like more than 20 years. And Dick LeBeau had been offered jobs over and over and over, but he never took them. He was just happy being a defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right. And he did that, and he did that well. And I want to say he did it from like the 80s to he just recently retired. I want to say I'm talking like maybe 2018 or 19, maybe even later than that. I'm going to have to check and see. But he was a Steelers coordinator for a long time, and that's all he wanted to do. Everybody isn't meant to be a head coach. Not saying that Ben Johnson may not do great things, but I think that today he probably said, you know what, I wish I was across the other side of the field,
Right.
still coaching these guys
Right.
instead of this responsibility of being here, because people don't realize that to sit in Dan Campbell's seat, it's a big difference between Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, where they were last year, to moving over to where Campbell sits to be the actual head coach.
Yeah, no, you're in the
You know?
doghouse.
Exactly. All right, Lions fans, that's pretty much it. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Look at the bottom of the screen. You see our Twitter/X page. You see our TikTok page, and you see our YouTube, which is where you're watching this at. That's pretty much all we have for this one. Until next time, peace.
Peace.